I don't have to mess with the software. It just does its thing and I can focus on doing my job. Flex fees have helped for us to be able to save up for all of those expenses that we hit. So I'm Jared. I'm one of the owners. My wife and I own CrossFit 1926. We've been doing CrossFit for 10 years. We have a 13,000 square foot facility. We are simply focused on providing CrossFit. That's it. We want to do one thing and we want to do that one thing really well. I spent several months looking at all of the software packages out there. I didn't want to have all sorts of different software platforms to use this for this and this for that. Of course, ultimately settled on Zen Planner. And I'll say Zen Planner helps us keep organized so that we can just go down the list and do what we have to do. Having the ability to use these flex fees in particular to be able to pass on processing fees to our members, they've all accepted it and we've had no problem. It's really allowed for us to keep member costs down and to give them the flexibility on what kind of fees they're going to want to see too. And we've had tremendous success.
Has there been an overall increase in revenue since incorporating flex fees?
Absolutely. It's been noticeable.
All right, everybody. My name is Kelly. I am here from Daxco Zen Planner, and I'm with Jared Hunt of CrossFit 1926.
Sure.
Welcome. Thanks for hopping on with me today, Jared. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, we love chatting about boutique small gyms, especially CrossFit boxes. It's one of my favorites. So before we start talking about like all the granular stuff, I want to just hear about you and your CrossFit box and how long you've been in business and just kind of the backstory.
Yeah. Well, boy, I don't know how exciting it is, but
It's always exciting.
yeah, let's roll up the sleeve. We're getting to it. You talk about it. Yeah. So I'm Jared. I'm one of the owners. My wife and I own CrossFit 1926 here in Ohio. We never really thought that we would be owning a CrossFit affiliate, but here we are. We opened the doors in 2018. We've been doing CrossFit for 10 years. Now the majority of those have been under our own affiliate. We own a handful of other companies and like I said, didn't really set out to do this, but
Right.
we very much understand that we were called to do this. So it was kind of a faith-based thump over the head. And we opened it up knowing that with God, all things are possible, which is Matthew 19:26.
Yeah.
So we named it CrossFit 1926. Here we are several years later. I started with my L1 and have just progressed through, collected just about every single certification I can get.
Right.
I'm a certified CrossFit trainer. I'm a L3 right now.
Nice.
And
Are
gee,
you working on your L4?
I don't know.
You knew that question was coming, right?
Everybody asks me that. Well, and
You have to.
yeah, okay, so that's just it. Like, I never thought that I would be able to get my L3. I looked at L3s as being up on this big old pedestal, and then they give one to me, and I'm like, oh, well, they lay 'em out to everybody anyways.
No, no.
And then everybody's like, you go to the games and you talk to the staff there, and like, hey, can I get my L3 patch? They give it to you, and it's not like, hey, congratulations. It's, oh, when you're working on your L4.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can never really like enjoy that moment,
Right.
right?
Yeah, that certainly was fleeting.
Yeah.
Well, and so I never thought that I would have that. Right now, I'm gonna say there's no way they'll ever give me an L4,
Sure.
but I never thought that I would have an L3 either. So
Yeah.
we'll see. But
We're talking like a year and a half, 2 years, and you'll be moving toward that for sure.
I've kind of been preparing for it.
There you go. Just a little bit. Yeah.
And that just keeps back to it too, that I feel like with God, all things are possible. He's been shoving us in this direction for all of this and has built this gym for us. And maybe this is part of that L3 mentality too. We see that we are in a space and time right now in the CrossFit community where there's a lot of noise. There are a lot of things happening and there are a lot of affiliates we see or non-affiliates that are just getting into all of this stuff. They're doing so many different things all over the place. I don't want to think of myself as being an affiliate owner with ADHD. We are simply focused on providing CrossFit. That's it. We want to do one thing and we want to do that one thing really well. And so here we are. And I gotta say, I love it.
Yeah, I'm seeing so many CrossFit affiliates. They're getting into high rocks. They're doing lots of different offerings inside of their space, which can be great. I think that the thought sometimes is like, okay, well, more stuff, more revenue, right? More stuff, more revenue, and but then you forget about like your bread and butter and or you can. And so I really like that take. I'm going to focus on what we do best. We do CrossFit best, and that's who we offer to. You have that very narrowed in market, and so that's who you speak to. Did you buy your box from somebody, or you guys opened it and you built it out, opened it up, did the whole thing yourself?
Ground up. Yeah, we started, and that started with me sitting right here at this desk, looking for what software we're going to be using and demoing everything and just exhausted research on everything. So I had coached at a local gym, was not an affiliate for a short period of time. And then understood that we were supposed to be doing this. And like I said, we've got other things cooking for us. So this gym is it was a calling, and we don't take any money out of it yet. So
So I have a question because you mentioned earlier that you and your wife have owned or do own other businesses.
Mhm.
So you have a business like acumen, right? Like you kind of understand that there's because oftentimes in this boutique industry, whether it be CrossFit or martial arts or yoga, there's like a drive because there's a passion there. You love it and so you want to bring it to other people, but the other part of that is, well, whoa, like this is a business. We have to keep our doors open or want to keep our doors open, right? And so how do we do that? So there's a period of time where you first open your facility where it can be real hard, right? Like I don't think people really understand the process of ground up opening a small gym. That's a grind.
it sure is.
Did you co are you I'm sure you were coaching. Does your wife coach too?
She does.
Are you guys still coaching or do you have a staff of coaches and how has that evolved? And
We're ridiculous.
okay.
I'll just throw that out there. We average 150 members.
Okay.
Day one, when we opened the gym, we had 60 signups.
Did
So
you okay, so tell me about the pre-opening. Did you offer well, you said you looked at software, so I'm sure you had everything set up ready to go. Did you do legacy type founders club type membership?
we did. We set everything up for everything on the back end first, website, and we were blasting social media with this. So we really hit it. We had the grand opening, and we offered certain deals for everybody that signed up there. And we had that certain period of time where the doors were open on grand opening day, and it come time that it was over, we were going to shut down for the day. We went on for 2 or 3 hours after that because there were more and more people
Yeah.
have our family involved. And I turned to one of my daughters who's signing people up through the super easy process through Zen Planner.
So did you start with Zen Planner
Yes.
in 2018? Okay.
Yes.
I love that.
We've used other software in other times, and
Yeah.
we'll talk about it. But day one, at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, how many signups did we get towards the end? She's and I thought she said 16. I'm like, what? She said 60, 60. I'm like,
She's quite the sales lady.
nope. It was just, it's overwhelming. So, we started coaching, and with some connections, we started out with a good handful of coaches.
Mm.
Right now, we have a staff of 17 coaches. Most all of them are L2s, and We have a couple 2 L1s and then, me with my 3.
For free.
So big staff, everyone else is working,
Mhm.
other jobs,
Yeah, yeah.
and,
That's how my gym is also.
yeah, you know what? It works out so well. They have so much passion for what they're doing, and it just works with our life.
I agree.
So,
They
yeah,
don't have to be there, and they're there because they love coaching, and that's what I love about that kind of, of coach. They're not employees, they're just, like, there because they love it because you love it, so
such a good community of people.
it is. It is. Um, okay, so you opened in 2018. Obviously, we all in the gym world experienced 2020. What did you guys do through that time? How did you manage to make it through? Did you rent out your equipment? Did you go virtual? What was it like up there?
Yes, and yes.
Yeah.
So that's the thing that, just thinking about the other businesses, I always want to have a backup plan. Just because I'm taking no money out of the gym doesn't mean that we don't want it to be in the black too.
Right, right.
So we've done that. We're very financially stable, and we're able to withstand that. One of the first things we did was we rented out the equipment to members. Actually, we didn't even rent it out; we gave it out to everybody
Yeah.
to keep them engaged. And just talking about that faith-based community, we had the first member that stepped up and said, "Hey, keep my membership going." And then more and more. And we had, I think 70% of the membership continue to do that. And so we had that. We had the equipment that was out and about. And then we actually did start doing some virtual classes as well.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's a testament to your community, those members who wanted to just keep on, supporting you guys. That's
absolutely.
very cool. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Alright, so I wanna run it back to how you picked your software. What was that process like? Because software is funny. I opened my first gym in 2008 and it's still running. It's in Florida. Man, when I tell you, like, the evolution of opening in 2008 when there wasn't any member management software, like, it didn't exist. So, like, I remember having a three-ring binder, and people would come in, and I'd write their name on, like, Monday, January whatever, and I'd write their name. And then Tuesday so I did that every day, and when I first opened that first week, there were, like, 36 total people that came to classes. I only had, like, a class Monday through Thursday evenings. It was very, very it was small. I was 27 years old, and they put a $10 bill in, like, a shoebox. I sound like my grandma talking about, like, 30, but that's what it was like. I'm telling you, when I look at what's available to us now in the world of technology and software and running our businesses, that is what it felt like. So obviously over the years, I transitioned and into like using software as that started to roll out and taking credit cards and all of the things. But um, I too have used different software platforms and use Zen Planner and Sugarwood with my gyms. And I know my reasons why I use software. I want to know yours. And I want to understand what is the most like what are those pain points that it solves for you?
Sure. So first of all, the first criteria that it had to meet is it had to be something that our athletes would enjoy. And that's the biggest thing for us was the athlete experience. And then the second thing is I got stuff going on. I need something that's going to help me run that business
Yeah.
and stay on top of everything. I like to keep everything right in order and keep good track of everything. In our other gym experience prior to opening our own, they did use another software platform, and it was janky. It was glitchy. It was down all the time. And one of the things that I picked up on it was that the leaderboard was public for everybody. Everything that you put in there, everybody could see it. And I was listening to people over the years and hearing the people that were embarrassed about putting their score in. And, being a CrossFit person, I know that I want them to be able to enter their score and to be able to retest and see how
Yeah.
fit they're getting. Yeah. So I knew that I had to have software that was not janky and that would make them feel comfortable enough to be able to put that in. So those were two main criteria. But then I wanted I didn't want to have all sorts of different software platforms to use this for this and this for that. And so I went through and I spent several months looking at all of the software packages out there, all of the vendors, and going through the demos and just asking all of those hard questions.
Right.
And of course, ultimately settled on Zen Planner. And I'll say it really wasn't too hard for me not to make this a commercial for that, but,
You're
you
not the only one who says that, like, "This is how to date ad." Yeah.
yeah, it really and it wasn't and I've been hit up by other vendors since then,
Yeah.
and, and I've even been like, "All right, we'll give it a try. Yeah, we'll give it a try." And I'm just gonna say to Zen Planner is not the least costly one out there.
Yep.
I went for and, started testing out another vendor that, boy, they would be saving us some money, and I ditched it after a month because it was not worth it.
Yeah.
Definitely not worth it.
Yeah, I think that for somebody who, because you said I want it to, well, what I heard was you need it to help you operate that business and you like things in order, you like to see reports. I mean, the Zen Planner reporting is very robust. It's better than anything I've ever used. Um, and the way that it integrates, do you use SugarWatt as well? You got SugarWatt as well? Yeah, so I figured. So I the way that they integrate and speak to each other is seamless. And then I love what you said. I just had an athlete that I was speaking to in one of my gyms who's new to functional fitness, CrossFit, and she came from like a different type of hit training. And she was like, "Is there a way for me to keep my scores private?" And my initial reaction, and this is full transparency, my initial reaction in my head was, "Nobody's going to judge you or care, and I want this person to get over that." I know that sounds terrible, but I want them to understand that we are here to help, and so are the other members, and this is a community, and it didn't matter. That didn't matter. At this point in her journey, she wanted to be able to track, but she wanted that, like, privacy, and she felt embarrassed, and SugarWOD can do that. I was speaking to my head coach, and he was like, "I get that. Like, I understand that for some of our new members, especially as they're coming in, and then it's our job as coaches, right, to coach them up and to make them feel comfortable, and maybe they take that privacy setting off of SugarWOD as they evolve through the gym."
I just had this with one of the athletes in a class this morning that come in is a very new athlete and is already performing very well.
Mhm.
We had a workout with box jumps, and I see her doing step ups. And afterwards, she told me how she was able to get one box jump in, and I'm looking at her and I'm like, I know that she can do that.
Or yeah.
But yeah, you look at like over the totality of the week that she's just had in her first week,
Mhm.
and the
Box jumps are scary.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'm just using that as that 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 carrot that we have that's lying ahead in the future. That as we progress, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking we're going to get her. We're going to get her to do those box jumps for sure. And for that athlete that doesn't want their scores to be on the leaderboard, we're going to get that person to be able to do that and to have the confidence for that. And that's what really gets that buy-in with the community that we have.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Do you okay, so you've taken it back to one of the first things you said. You guys really you focus solely on CrossFit. That is where you guys are best, and that is what you do. What ways are you utilizing like events, community? How do you engage your community? Um how do you keep them there? How do you enhance that customer experience as they, move 12 months in, 15 months in, those like sweet spots where that churn typically is, can be high.
You know what? So we do some periodic community events. Obviously, with the open coming up, we're going to be doing that. And we have events here and there. We've hosted competitions, and that's fine. But
Mhm.
I'll tell you, the biggest thing that we do to keep people engaged, and I feel that we have very low turnover with our members, is we stay in contact with them. And so we've got, I call it the email of shame. Hey, it's been
We
10 days.
haven't seen you.
Yeah, where have you been?
We have that set up inside of ZP Studio, the automations.
Absolutely. So I will say the biggest thing that we do to keep our members engaged is we use the automations to keep ourselves organized
Yeah.
so that we can have those human to human interactions with the people
Mhm.
and make that happen. So just before this call, I'm on texting various people. We've got a really cool thing for people that are prospects. They've been in the gym,
Mhm.
but they haven't committed to membership. We know that you can't just simply have one person come in and after one time, they're going to make a decision.
Right,
Many circumstances we want to find the balance and just talk to them. And we don't use automated emails for that.
right.
So I am personally texting those people. The people that are not coming regularly or they've kind of fallen to the wayside with this, we're staying in touch with those
Yeah,
people. So Zen Planner helps us keep organized so that we can just go down the list and do what we have to do.
yeah. Yeah, there's no way with 150 members, there's no way with 50 members that you could, as a coach, unless you're coaching, like, every single class, I guess, and you have the, memory like an elephant, that you can track who hasn't been in. You're always gonna forget that, so I do like that. You get that, like, absent member touch point, and then I love how you take that automation and you turn it into to a one-on-one conversation. I once used years ago another software for member engagement, and they had workflows that were set up, and I had gone through maybe 60% of the language of the workflows, my fault, and it had sent a message out to a prospect who had been in and then sent another message, and then, like, the last message that I saw said something like, "You must hate me. You must hate me. I'm feeling like I'm being ghosted," like the craziest language. And I was like, "Oh my goodness gracious. I cannot believe that that sent that out. Like love lift." Like it was just it was mortifying. And so I at that point I was like, this is not for me. Like I turned it all off. I ended up obviously leaving. I moved over and now like yeah, you've got your hand in the automations, but you also have that personal touch point, and people can tell. Like I've seen that where they're like, "I think this is automated, but yes, I'll be there." Like I don't want them to feel that way. Um, the automations inside of Zen Planner Studio are easy to set up, easy to turn on and off. I probably have like 30% of them turned on, and the rest I have turned off at any given time, and then we'll.
Well, there's a massive amount of variable to be used. And I would say that's probably very fair to say with us as well that the majority of them we don't use, but we use quite a few.
Sure.
And those emails, yeah, when we send emails out to people, they are emails that I have written at some point and now they're automated for them.
Sure.
And hey, when you come here, enter through this door now that it's a new building or whatever.
Yeah.
But really to have those tasks in the background are huge for us. And getting back to the vendor that we were looking at, yeah, a couple of years ago, they lacked those types of things. They lacked the automation. And I can say some other things about Zen Planner that I like that I didn't see in that. But basically, what it came down to is yeah, if you are paying less for that, it's because you're getting exponentially less. And what we're getting, which I feel is very reasonable fee for what we're getting through Zen Planner. And for it to just do so much as far as all of that on the back end. I've got plenty of widgets integrated into my gas site as
Yeah.
well, and we're taking advantage of all of it.
Yeah. Okay, so let's then talk about flex fees. And it's a kind of a term that people don't really understand. And actually a lot of small gym owners or martial arts school owners, they don't really understand. So I want to hear your experience using flex fees and why you decided to incorporate them into your gym. And for those that don't know, flex fees allows you to add an additional fee to cover sometimes processing in a way that increases revenue for you without increasing membership fees. I would say that's the simplest way to put it. What made you decide to try flex fees in your gym? What was that process?
Well, I'll tell you, the one thing was I hate raising rates.
I know.
I hate it, and every time I talk with seminar staff or I'm at a new training and they hear what our rates are, they're like, "Oh, you've got to raise those rates."
Can I ask you what your rates are?
So our base rate 3 times a week, single athlete, $85 a month. I know. Like, I
Okay, okay, okay. Tell me more.
yeah. So then we go up and, so the nice thing is that we can have single athlete plans. We have 3-day week and we have unlimited. We're open 6 days a week, of course, closed on Sunday. We have couples plans, we have families plans, and just some different programs that it goes up from there. But in my mind, you have to know our area. You have to know what it is because, we're sitting here saying, you should be charging twice that amount of money. You're a CrossFit affiliate.
Mhm.
That new person that walks in the door and tries it out, they don't care that we're a CrossFit affiliate.
Yep.
They know that Anytime Fitness is 20 bucks a month. They're just down the street and there's this little independent gym and this one and this one. Now, you and I know that they're going to go to those places and find a huge difference between what they're doing and what we're doing. I get that, but we got to get them in the door first. And so we've kept fees low and we want to keep them fairly low. Not to say that we've never raised them, but in having the ability to use these flex fees in particular to be able to pass on processing fees to our members, they get it. And we give them other options too. Like you don't have to do credit cards if you don't want to pay with that. We can do EFTs. So then it's just that flat rate. Or if you want to give me a check, Zen Planner is able to handle all of those payment methods. And we have some people that will keep a balance and will just give us a check here and there. So it's really allowed for us to keep member costs down and to give them the flexibility on what kind of fees they're going to want to see too. And we've had tremendous success.
What was the process of getting flex fees set up?
Well, um, you guys did it for the most part. It worked out pretty well. This was when it was fairly new. I had never considered it before, but then this is something that, we see as another Daxco service. And they made it very easy for us on the back end. I'm hesitating because since then, we've now started to see other organizations reach out to us wanting for us to switch to them for our processing so they can do all of this.
Mm.
And I'm like, oh, no, we're already doing that.
Yeah.
And then they kind of hang up real quick. They're surprised.
Right. Okay, so I have heard a lot of gym owners hesitate to implement flex fees because they're worried about member pushback or losing customers, losing members or athletes. Did you have reservations before incorporating flex fees? And was that the reality? I mean, what
Um,
was the response?
I always have reservations about that. And, again, with the beginning of the year rolling around, we didn't raise fees.
Mm.
But we do have reservations about that. And we decided that we're going to try it anyways. But, the first thing that we do is I just want to be respectful of everybody. And we're not going to hit them with any surprises. So we print up some signage, taped it to all the doors in the gym, and we said, "Hey, on this day, this is going to happen. Here are your options. It will either automatically happen and you'll see this, or if you want to set your bank account up for EFT transfers or start doing this, just let us know."
Yeah.
And when we did that is just like any time in the past that we have raised membership fees, and that has been that we have a good relationship with those people. You know, there are friends that we train with every day.
Mhm.
Um, they've all accepted it and we've had no problems. So
Yeah.
switching to the flex fee type of system, I had zero issues with. I had way more apprehension because of whatever I might be making up in my mind. But again, we use the software so that we can engage and do life with these people.
Yeah.
And when it come time, we were just open, like, hey, this is what's happening, and we're absorbing all of this cost. They have their little share of it. We didn't have a single problem with any member through that process.
You seem like you track everything well. Has there been an overall increase in revenue since incorporating flex fees?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's been noticeable.
Noticeable.
Yes, it's been noticeable. Um, and as you can imagine, with our membership fees, we are just trying to pay utilities, pay rent, save up a little bit for whatever catastrophe might come.
Sure.
We are not in Florida. It gets cold here. So the winter time, the gas bill, we have a 13,000 square foot facility, and
Oh, that's big.
yeah, we have a lot to heat. So electric and gas fluctuates quite a bit from season to season. And just for a little reference, right now it's 17 degrees here. So
Oh, no, no, sir.
it, flex speed, it's getting warm. The sun's out, it's warm. Flex fees have helped for us to be able to save up for all of those expenses that we hit.
I love that. I think that when we think about the overhead of running a business, running a gym, running a 13,000 square foot gym is that's a huge space. I mean, you've already talked about not taking like you don't take a paycheck from the gym. So you're constantly reinvesting into your business, reinvesting into growing your facility. And this may have been after incorporating flex fees or even just in the process of owning your CrossFit box. How have you reinvested in the facility? Do you do like yearly new equipment upgrades? Do you change memberships? Do you offer more classes? What are the ways that that you're constantly kind of like reinventing yourselves to stay relevant, I guess?
We wanted to stay fresh. I'm not really trying to reinvent anything at all. Like I said, it's old school CrossFit methodology, but
Yeah.
we stay up on absolutely everything that we're doing. I will say that as we have people visit our gym from other gyms, we're fortunate enough to always get comments about how great of condition our equipment is in and how clean the gym is. We like to keep everything looking like new as much as we can. And so that is looking at the equipment and maintaining it very well. But then we see other things like within this last year, we've seen the trend in the use of more C2 bikes. So we got for air bikes, we have primarily all echo bikes. But we know that some of our athletes will go to a competition and need to use an assault bike. So we have some there so that they're just familiar with it. But then we would get a C2 bike and maybe have two of them. But then we're looking and we know that we just need to have enough for a full class. So by having the financial freedom to do this now, we are purchasing and we've since done that. We have enough bikes that we can have an entire workout of C2 bikes, like mind blowing for us here. And that's happened with other types of equipment as well.
Yeah.
And it does give us the ability to do things like, handing out bonuses or gift cards to people. We do member spotlight stuff that if there's someone that really stands out, that we're able to give them a little something. So we can do a lot of those extra things. It's just that we're very intentional with what we do, that we want it to be something that's really going to impact a person.
Yeah.
We don't look for the specialty pieces of equipment that are for a single use, the reverse hypers that just set in a corner and stuff like that.
Right.
If it can't be used for a whole class, we don't have it. But we've been able to continuously reinvest um, in order just to keep that going. So a last example is that we just did a January challenge for our members, and with that challenge, bunch of criteria, have a score sheet. The winner of that, we bought a pair of shoes. We got them some new rad trainers. Um,
Right.
I don't know if they realize it or not, but there was no sponsorship, no anything. I sat down with my credit card,
Yeah.
bought those things, and it's just stuff like that, and that was very well worth it. The energy that that brought was so amazing, that this has given us the financial freedom to be able to do those things, to just make people have fun.
I like it. I like the simplicity mentality. I think that that old school traditional CrossFit gym is hard to find. That's actually pretty hard to find nowadays. So, um, throughout the process of building your gym, building out the software, and working with Zen Planner specifically and Sugarwad, how's that experience been?
It's been good. Really for me, it started with that demo and learning what it was. I was onboarded, which I gotta tell you, I was told I was one of the quickest people to onboard. Hair all set up, whatever,
I love it.
a little
I
dirty.
love it.
But it's gone very well, that we can just get that stuff set, and I don't have to mess with the software too much now. It just does its thing, and I can focus on doing my job. But the best thing that I like is anytime I have an issue with Zen Planner or SugarWOD questions at all, I've been able to just email someone, "Hey, can you help with this?" They get in on the back end of it. They can help me with that. Um, and I've even had some, I think, trying to build out special types of reports in Zen Planner, that the support staff will actually send me an email with a video of them in my database talking with me and saying, "Oh, you just need to do this, this, and this." And then I can save that and it's there. And
Yeah.
fantastic.
Okay, I love to hear that. I love to hear that. Our support they get lots of questions all of the time, and, that's a unforgiving job for sure, so we love to hear. Yeah. Okay, so for green, new gym owners coming into this industry now, what is one piece of advice? So that's question A. And then for our gym owners who have been doing this for a long time, who are on the fence about using flex fees specific to what we've been talking about, what would you say to them?
New people getting into it and using the software. The only thing that I can say again is that I have found tremendous support from the Zen Planner, SugarWOD, Daxco staff on everything that I've used, that there is a support system there and that it's so beneficial that they are all interconnected now. So it's seamless, and they have spent a lot of time making sure that I'm comfortable with it. And like I said, whether that's someone that needs more or less help getting rolling, it's scalable. Get going with what you need to, and as you get more comfortable with it, simple stuff, simple stuff.
Yeah.
As far as flex fees go, again, the thing that I find in my recommendation, my experience has been, don't catch anybody off guard. Just be honest with people and let them know what's going on. Hey, here's this happening. We're going to do this. You don't make a big production about it. It doesn't need to be that. They don't, our members don't require that. That, like I said, for us, we simply put out notice, um, whatever it was, 2 months ahead of time. Hey, this is going to be happening. Here's why. If you got any questions, let us know. Don't go crazy with a big explanation and everything else. Just give them the facts. They're adults, they can handle it. And our experience with that change, as well as in the past when we have changed membership fees, is they've been fine with it. And I make more of a deal. I get more worked up or worried about it. Then when the time comes, it's just like, oh, that's it.
It wasn't that big of a deal. Yeah. Okay. I love that. Well, where can folks find you on social media, and where are you give me all the rundown of your social handles, your website, all the good
Absolutely.
stuff.
Uh,
Yeah.
CrossFit 1926, CrossFit1926.com. Facebook, you can search CrossFit 1926 or Instagram, very active on those as well. We are posting everything to our story on Instagram so people can check it out. But yeah,
Love
and you can just see what kind of community we develop when we can just have time connecting with each other. Love it.
I love it.